Good evening! Welcome to Ironsworn. It's DobbsQuest episode 21. We've been at this for a while. Tonight, we're mixing it up a bit. I have the extended rule set for Ironsworn, the Ironsworn Delve expansion, which we are going to employ tonight for a delve into some dangerous areas. Joining me, as always, we have GameCube playing the part of the sneaky Glane.
I would like to use my hello for a birthday shout-out this week. Happy 20th birthday to the GameCube.
Oh.
Ooh.
We have Lurking Turtle as the stalwart Torgan.
I would like to use my shout out to say I didn't think of anything to say today, so insert funny comment here.
Perfect. And Daysnick playing the part of the Elven Bard Serene.
Salutations. And wow, we're getting old.
Ooh, oh no. Oh yeah, the implications. Yeah, GameCube 20 years ago. Oh no, no. I'm sure it's fine.
I'm almost 2 GameCubes old.
Measuring our age in GameCube.
Well, that good news for you. I guess it will. The number of GameCubes old you are is going to steadily decrease.
You mean the ones we have left?
What? No.
It's really depressing.
In 20 years, you'll be 1.5 GameCubes old. And then in 40 years, you'll be like 1 1/3 GameCubes old? That's neither here nor there.
Will anybody even know what a GameCube is by then?
No, it'll be some weird niche hardware component that no one's heard of. So, tonight, we're going to crack open the Ironsworn Delve expansion and figure out how things can go terribly wrong for our heroes. So, let's see here. We are on the islands of the Shroud, a small archipelago off to the east of the Ironlands that is always covered in a dense and potentially magically originating fog. Now, after a little bit of exploration and some dice rolls, we have determined some things about the Shroud. One, there is a presence of the Brotherhood of Shadows. They are on the island for some reason. They've got a small base of operations here, multiple fortifications. Already, the group has scouted out a collection of old wrecked ships that serves as a sort of wooden fortress out on near one of the beaches. The party has done a little bit of traveling inland and come across a fellow castaway who's been here for months already, Amara. Now, she has been keeping her eye on the Brotherhood while surviving out here in the wilds, and she does know of the captain to the ill-fated Dominion that the party came this far on. The crew of which has all been unfortunately killed off. So, Amara being a seasoned sailor, she is willing to help the party steer that ship further into the Shroud and away from the Brotherhood. But she wants something in return. Specifically, the fabled treasure of Captain Barnes himself that the Brotherhood has in their possession in one of their fortifications. So we've made some rolls and we've determined that The Brotherhood has a sort of fortified setup within some of the caverns along the coastline, just a little bit west of where the party originally landed on the island. So, for this fortification and the exploration thereof, we are going to be using the Delve rulebook. So you guys don't need to worry too much about the individual rules. It's going to be very similar to Undertake a Journey, but in a more localized setting and with a bit more specific outcomes.
I do have some pre-game business whenever you've got an open moment.
Let's do it.
Glane has spent 2 weeks on the island training for what's coming. Just grab that number out of the air. 2 weeks.
Okay.
And
Noted.
He's been preparing.
He has 7 experience points he would like to lay on the table.
All right. What do you have in mind?
First, he has been looking in a mirror and talking tough to himself, and he has unlocked Cutthroat 2.
All right. Let's see here. Assets. Cutthroat 2. When you compel someone at the point of your blade, or when you rely on your blade to face danger, add +1. Okay. Seems reasonable.
Additionally, knowing that he's about to go into an enemy camp, and Amara knows about this camp, she has been giving him some tips on how to best go about doing so. And the other 5 of my points are going to unlock level 1 and 2 of Infiltrator.
Ooh. All right, let's see here. Infiltrator. Let's see, get the master set. Infiltrator. Aha, here we go. All right, so we're taking 1 and 2, is that correct?
Yep.
Perfect. Oh, I'm so glad I set up this spreadsheet properly, so I can copy paste from the asset rulebook, and then it plops it into a nice spreadsheet ready set of items that I can check mark, and oh, it's beautiful. And that automatically feeds into the asset experience points spent cell on the, anyway. So when you make a move to breach, traverse, or hide within an area held by an enemy, add +1 and take +1 momentum on a hit. When you gather information within an enemy area to discover their positions, plans, or methods, or you secure an advantage within that area through observation, you may roll Shadow instead of Wits. Oh, that's nice. And if you do, take +1 momentum on a hit. Excellent. All right.
I know we're talking about spreadsheets, but remember to breathe.
All right. We're there. All right.
So, while Glane's doing a lot of training, Serene's gonna work on some of her specialty arrows.
Ah.
And she has a couple ideas for very specific kinds that might be useful. Specific treatments for them.
Go on.
Well, apparently we've had 2 weeks to get ready and prepare for this adventure, which is interesting to know.
That's that's good information.
Yeah. So, one of the things that she has done, knowing that we're going to be working in largely wooden structures, we've had a chance to, do fishing and whatnot for meals over the past 2 weeks. She's made a point of collecting some of the fish oil so that she can make some more of those fire arrows that we used to use, because I used my last one to save Glane's butt a while back.
Okay. So this is going to be, I guess this is a secure an advantage maneuver in a sense.
I have a specific task or a specific ability for this.
Oh, let's see here.
On my, I think it's Poison Master asset.
When you prepare poisoned arrows. Oh, these are going to be poison arrows specifically?
I need to make some poison arrows too, but I feel like the mechanic is applicable.
So let's see. So what this is Poison Expert updates your poison arrow track, which you deduct from in order to deal more damage, specifically on an enemy. It's not.
I guess mechanically the flavoring doesn't matter. The idea is we're making specialty arrows, and I have a fixed number or a limited number of them. I want to make some that are specifically, like, story functionality wise. There'll be a few that I have 3 in mind that I want to make.
Well,
but
if that's
mechanically
the
they won't
case,
function differently.
If that's the case, there is a delve-specific move that is perhaps does what you're talking about. It's called Check Your Gear. It's basically in the moment where you need to see if you have an item, you roll supply. And on a strong hit, yes, you have it, you get momentum. On a weak hit, you have it, but resources are diminished. And then on a miss, you actually don't have it or just can't obtain it right now. So that may make more sense in that sense.
I suppose.
Torgan spent the 2 weeks looking for an Applebee's gift card he misplaced, but upon finding it, realized it is expired.
The crafting mechanic would fall under the poison arrow ability. But the idea, story flavor wise, is that she wants to make a set of arrows that's specifically treated for with a sleeping potion, for taking enemies alive, in theory, flavor wise. Then just some normal poison arrows, and then she's looking at making some flammable arrows. Because, you know, it's a wooden structure, and there may be times that we just need to, set something on fire. While we're not in it. From a distance.
Well, keep in mind, the wooden structure you saw on the beach, that's not the one that you're going to.
Yeah.
Just for clarity. Okay. You don't know that there's a wooden structure involved.
There's wooden structures all over the place. They have multiple. We're talking about ships.
Okay.
I mean, we've talked. Amara's been talking about how they've been stripping these wrecked ships for supplies. So it just seems logical to be, a little prepared.
Make sure you don't burn down any structures we haven't swept for the treasure yet, and we're good.
Well, when
good treasure, it won't melt.
Mechanically, when you make preparations, that's a secure and advantage move.
Okay.
So if you want to do it that way, we can do it that way. Otherwise, if you want to rely on the check your gear maneuver, once we get into the heat of the moment, we can do it that way.
We can do it that way, I suppose. And we'll just, for story purposes, this is what she has spent her time doing.
Sure, yeah.
And,
okay.
So, when we get to that point, story relevant, that's what we have available to pull from.
Yeah. Alright. So, any other preparations before we begin the delve?
Do I need to roll to top off supply?
If you want to you can do for a resupply roll. But, of course, there's always the chance that things go badly.
Yeah. And I feel like that would be during our backstory of 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Rather than at the immediate moment. What do you guys think? Is it worth it?
I think we're almost topped off on supply, right?
We're at 4.
I mean, what's the worst that could happen?
Don't ask that.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
It's fair to assume that during these past 2 weeks, you are kind of living out in the wilderness with Amara, and most of the hunting and gathering that you go through is it's going towards survival, not about restocking specific items you're going to need for the journey.
Roll
for the infiltration. So we are going to go ahead.
Well, if I want to roll for that, I guess that would be. I'm looking at the Can you pull up the resupply card?
I sure can. I believe it's wits. Yes.
Oh yeah, that's my specialty, and I need some momentum. So.
Well, there you go.
Well, it doesn't give you. You can lose momentum. You can't gain it. Okay. I'm going to do so just to test and see how badly you rigged the bot.
I was just thinking that we'll test the temperament of the bot for tonight.
There you go. All right, top off supply.
That sounds good.
Hey, all right.
Yeah, look at that.
Wrong hit.
On the right track already. Okay, so we are going to attempt a delve in the Brotherhood's Sea Cavern Fortress.
Your on-screen spreadsheet table thingy is not updating.
Where am I looking? Ah, I see. Which is weird because I tested it earlier and it was. Because I actually went through and tested it.
Is there a possibility that we'll find a farmer?
Always.
Could there be a farmer in the delve?
Thank you, Turtle.
Thank you.
You
may return to your seat now.
It's been quiet for 20 minutes. And
all right, so I'm going to rule that this is going to be a formidable sight. So it's going to be a little bit tricky to get through. Lots of dangers. Basically, this is going to follow the same kind of tracking that an enemy or a journey would, in which progress gets you one check mark, effectively. You guys are fairly well versed with the normal rules of Ironsworn and how that works, at least. So that's what we're doing. Yeah, should be by now. All right, so we have given the site a rank, a name. It has there are two extra things with sites. They have a specific domain and theme. In this case, this is a fortified sea cavern. And the only thing that's really going to affect is the type of denizens you may encounter, and also the types of events that can transpire within the site. So, we're going to begin with a move. Actually, well, first we're gonna actually pull the story over and actually get there. So, the three of you, along with Amara, have been sort of preparing to infiltrate this fortification. The Brotherhood's that the Brotherhood has set up within these sea caves along the coastline. So far, you do know that she's never been inside of these particular caverns, but she does have some information that is where they're keeping a lot of treasure, including Captain Barnes's specific items that he was asking you to retrieve. They have some hidden coves that contain ships, which is an option if you guys are going to try and get out by boat. That is an option, but also you do have the Dominion out at sea, and you should be able to find your way there. So it is still, as far as you know, still afloat. but maybe a little bit safer, but maybe not. Uncertain. We'll see what happens. So the plan is to get in, grab the items, and leave. Hopefully undetected, but if something happens, something happens. This very well could be the end of Season 1. We'll see.
Oh, we went and said it.
Oh,
What's
boy.
that?
You actually said it.
I said it. This could be it. This could be where the adventurers meet their doom. We're gonna let the dice fall where they fall and just play it through. Are you ready?
And we might have to retcon the whole episode if we TPK.
I don't think so. If that's what happens, that is what happened. It's canon.
I'm bored.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
They'll kill us.
Yep,
Well-
I told y'all. We're gonna die tonight.
Well, we'll see. It might go great.
We'll get our Monday nights back.
Hey,
we'll
look
have
at that.
we'll play some more Minecraft or something.
Minecraft Monday comes back. All right.
Oh
So
god.
we are going to begin with Delve the Depths. When you traverse an area within a perilous site, envision your surroundings, ask the Oracle, and consider your approach. Now, here's a key thing. In undertaking a journey, you always have to roll wits, right? Delve is a little bit differently. When you're delving the depths, you can actually choose one of 3 possible ways of proceeding for every step of the way. You can navigate the area with haste, rolling edge, with stealth or trickery, to roll shadow, or with observation, intuition, or expertise, to roll wits. And it matters which one you choose, because the results vary slightly based on which one you choose. If you are navigating with edge, you are more likely to make progress faster, but also more likely to reveal dangers. If you're navigating with shadow, you're more likely to mark progress without revealing dangers, but less likely to find opportunities which could help you. Thank you, 8-Ball. So I'm gonna plop that specific info in the Discord, in the DobbsQuest lobby, so that if you guys want to look at the specific numbers, you can. But I don't know if that will really help too much. But yeah, I think it's time to delve the depths here. We need to figure out exactly what happens. But you guys are approaching the some entrance to the sea cavern, and how you proceed will determine a little bit of what this looks like. But I'll let you guys discuss amongst yourselves how you want to proceed.
I think for this endeavor, Serene's going to be wearing her mask.
Okay, mask is up. Which means that on a natural 1 for an edge roll, you do take damage. But you get more bonuses on edge.
I am going to paint a meaningful symbol. Let's say a seahorse.
Oh, all
on
right.
my shield.
So during the past 2 weeks, you've changed your centaur shield to a seahorse.
Yes.
That, you know what? That's still on brand. So perfect. All right.
I have to imagine that if we have spent 2 weeks thinking about how we're going to get in here, we're probably going to try to do it sneakily.
This seems reasonable.
So I would imagine that we would go in with Shadow.
If that's the case, I think that means Glane is going to lead the way, right?
Glane has a plan.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
I don't want to rope her into this whole thing, but she does want to help us succeed.
Mm-hmm.
So Amara is hanging out a little bit of a distance away from us, but at the entrance of where we're trying to get in.
Okay.
This will be my infiltrator flavor text. There's some patrols, I guess, going on the exterior of this place.
Uh-huh.
And she was going to give us signals when it's safe to come out of cover to continue moving into an entrance.
Okay.
So she'll be giving us kind of a signal that we can see. We'll get to a rock or some bushes or some kind of like a ridge, and then she'll watch the guards, and when it's safe, she'll give us a signal to keep moving.
Seems reasonable. So you'll use your infiltrator. So let's see here.
Yeah, we've had some time to kind of watch and observe and stuff.
So let's see here. Which of your infiltrator skills you're going to be using here for that? That's going to be...
the first one.
Yeah, Infiltrator 1. You're going to be making a move to breach an area held by an enemy. And on that move, you'll be able to make a +1 and take +1 momentum on a hit. Okay. So, now this means Amara is kind of out of the way. So she's probably not entering with you.
No, she's not coming into this
okay.
area with us to be in danger, but she is going to help us at least give us a green light to get inside.
All right, well, let's see how that goes.
She might be a part of our exit strategy.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'll probably watch from a distance and, you know.
And we'll say this is kind of a... let's see. How are we getting into this? So this is kind of along the coast. There's all these caverns, these areas that have been washed away by the sea over years and years and years, and there's these long dark tunnels that are partially flooded. There's some massive coves that have the sort of overhanging greenery over the edge, and perhaps there's a few entrances that have been dug out. See these tunnels from inland that allow easier access. How are the three of you getting in there? Any preferences on that? What have you decided?
Well, Morgan would have a hard time swimming in heavy armor, even though that might be Serene's preferred method.
That's true.
All right, so going for one of the...
We definitely don't want to get split up.
Okay, so going for one of the drier access points, one of the sort of man-made tunnels that lead into the cavernous fortress. Amara is watching from perhaps some of the nearby treetops. She's found a good place to scout out and carefully watch the movement of some of the Brotherhood members as they pass in and out. And after studying it for a long time, she feels pretty confident in knowing sort of the rough times where they're passing through. Not knowing how far in this hallway is, if there's any place to hide, anything like that. Just with the information she's got, though, that's what you're going to work off of. And so, Glane, leading the charge on this, you're going to be rolling Shadow plus an additional 1. Alright, let's see what we get here. Ooh, alright. A weak hit. So this is on the move for Delve the Depths. Alright, so you're moving with Stealth or Triggery, roll Shadow. Oh, and also because of your asset, it is a hit. So you get 1 momentum. Even though it wasn't a strong hit, you still get the momentum. Yep. You're almost at your current max. Your max has been reduced because of recent, shaken status. All right, so on a weak hit, roll on the table according to your stat. So hit me with a D100. Exclamation mark roll, and then a D100. And we're going to figure out what happens here. 91. Ooh, take both. Mark progress and find an opportunity. Good roll, good roll. On this
Is high usually good, or is that just
yes, random? On this one, high is typically good unless, well, there's some cases where the highest one is like you get double progress, but there's also a danger. So it's like really good and also bad.
You get double progress, but you're the only living party member left.
On Shadow, the only way that can happen is if you roll 100. Because Shadow is meant to be a bit of a safer option, so it's very rare for that to happen. But you made progress. So we mark 1 progress step on our delve tracker. And you get to find an opportunity, which is a separate move. I'm going to roll for that one. When you encounter a helpful situation or feature within a site, roll on the table. And let's see here. And then choose 1. And I'll let you know what you can choose between. A 9. All right. Ooh. Result. The terrain favors you, or you find a hidden path. All right, so here's your choices. You may either take 1 momentum by gaining insight or preparation, or take action now to get a +1 directly leveraging that opportunity with whatever your next move is, as long as it somehow leverages that.
I have a lot of new bonuses that let me get momentum, so I personally think the action would be better, unless this is a group decision. Unless it's based on my role, so I make the call. I don't know.
No,
Are we all
I'm good with you taking the +1.
All right, action.
All right, so first of all, it is a success. You are able to infiltrate past the guards, right up to where this sort of passageway enters into the earth. This is sort of a it's not particularly well hidden. This is just meant as a method of convenient access for the Brotherhood members. They're not really expecting anyone to actually be trying to sneak their way past them. They don't expect anyone else to be on the island. So already their guard is down. So this is favorable. This is a good situation for you. You're able to very easily get inside. And immediately you are plunged into the dim light of this long hand-dug hallway. Your eyes adjust to the light as you sort of enter, and you take a moment to be very careful and listen out for any footsteps, anything like that. The walls around you are, for the most part, just bare dirt with wooden supports kind of installed. This is a very rough dug tunnel, but it proceeds a little ways downwards into the earth, a little ways out of sight for not having a dedicated light source. But you do see maybe it looks like a little bit of torchlight ahead, down towards the end of the tunnel. There are small alcoves that appear to store just crates of just supplies, mostly just mundane items, nothing particularly useful for you right now, but perhaps in a pinch you might need to keep that in mind. Perhaps the more notable thing is the fact that there are alcoves to hide in if need be. And so, with that +1, you can make another move on Delve the Depths to see if we can make more progress here. And with Shadow, and you get that +1 from your opportunity from before. So it'll be another Iron Roll 4.
Oh, 4, okay.
So last time it was from the Infiltrator, this time, a miss. All right, so, but you do have momentum if you want to turn that into a weak hit. That's an option.
This is really early to start missing.
It is, isn't it?
And I'm almost maxed out, which means you gotta start spending to make money. So let's go ahead and do it.
All right, we're gonna turn that into a weak hit. You know, not ideal, but it works. So on a weak hit, we are going to roll the D100. Go ahead, GQ. Let's see what we get here. We're going to figure out what our result is. A 6. Oh,
God.
Well, unfortunate. Well, there's a at least that's better than a miss. So on a 6, mark progress and reveal a danger. So you still make progress, if nothing else. So just to clue you in on the exact metrics on like how the delve move works is strong hit is progress and bonus. Miss is just problems found. Weak hit is the big random table that could be any combination of those. So you want strong hit if ever you can get it, but weak hit is still better typically. In fact, I think it's impossible to not make progress on a weak hit. So you still you carry on through, and now we're going to reveal a danger. So here we go. The first reveal a danger move here. When you encounter a risky situation within a site, 86, a resource is diminished, broken, or lost. Okay, so not terrible. I think in this case, let's see here. Perhaps this is where we are needing to actually get some light on the situation. We found that this tunnel is very dark. The interior is not well lit. It looks like, from what you've seen, a lot of the Brotherhood members that are coming out do have torches while they're coming through the tunnel. So you're going to need some kind of actual light to actually see your way around here once you get out of view of that opening out to daylight. However, that's not something you were super well prepared for. You don't have a ton of torches available, but you have enough resources to scrounge together that you can at least get a makeshift torch ready. A little bit of supply lost, but you are able to carry on further into the site. So let's see here. So where does that put us on? Where does that put us in the depths now? Let's find out. Let's find out what this new area we're getting into is. Let's see here. So we are in a sea cave. Let's just roll on the oracle here. Let's see here. 41. This is okay, so we are entering some dry passages. All right, the cavern opens up a little bit. You are no longer in sort of this raw dugout tunnel. Some rough stairs mark a transition where you are exiting this man-made portion of the cave, and now you are in what appears to be raw, eroded tunnels. But not the flooded sea cavern you were expecting. These are dry tunnels, perhaps a shifting of the waters or caverns below acting as a sort of drain has left this section of caves dry to walk on. And it seems the Brotherhood has taken advantage of that to save on manpower. Perhaps they've mapped out the tunnels and knew about this, or perhaps just happened into it. Either way, this is a long, twisting, dark passageway that extends out in both directions from this sort of T-junction. So you have made progress. You're further into the caves. So now we need to press on. Continuing with Shadow.
So we haven't had any signs of anyone around us yet.
Not yet. So far, everything has been blessedly lonely.
Okay. I don't see a reason to break from Shadow as long as we're still undetected. There's not a reason to hurry because there's no urgency yet. What was the other option other than haste?
Wits, which is observation, intuition, or expertise.
But basically, if you want me to roll.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to, we're kind of in a big area. There could be multiple ways to go at this point if you want to take a look around before we continue sneaking.
So, let's see. Wits has a slightly larger percentage chance of revealing a danger.
Okay. We want to stay quiet until...
Yeah, we should probably continue with Shadow for now.
The Shadow's only an option until Shadow's no longer an option.
Right.
Once everyone knows we're here, we're not shadowing around anymore. Yeah. So I guess
the big difference is there's like a 10% difference. Like out of that D100, 10 of those numbers from what is it? From getting in Shadow, the 10 where you would normally either mark progress or find an opportunity are replaced with doing both.
I've got a question about breaking the rules, possibly.
Okay.
This is a Brotherhood hideout.
Yep.
I am from the Brotherhood.
True.
My second option, when I gather information from an enemy area to discover plans, method, or positions, when I secure an advantage, I may roll Shadow instead of Wits. Does my knowledge of how they operate and their layout or architecture or anything I see give me any... we should go this way? This is the way they...
Right.
They think.
Let's see here. I don't think in this particular area. I think we need to get somewhere a little bit more populated. Like this particular part of the tunnels is just... there's nothing that marks it as Brotherhood territory at this point. But once we get further, then I think that will be useful.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
We're still sneaking in the front hall. We haven't made it to the foyer yet.
A strong hit. On a strong hit, you delve deeper, mark progress, and find an opportunity. Wow. And you guys thought you were dead tonight.
That's 10 dashes, and we only got 3. There's still plenty of time for you to kill us. Don't worry.
That's true. Okay, an aspect of the history or nature of this place is revealed. Let's see here. Something about the nature of this place that will give you some kind of useful bonus. All right. All right, so you are making your way through the caverns. You wind up at this T-junction where the sea caverns sort of are. You enter the actual caverns portion of this fortification. And so Glenn is kind of looking around, trying to figure out which way to go. And Serene, relying on her superior elven ears, hears the distant sound of like gently lapping water out in one direction, and is able to determine, that's the way towards the actual caverns where they're going to have their ships and presumably their goods stored. That's the way we want to handle. That way is probably bats and other critters that we aren't going to have any use for. And so, well, you can either take the momentum or the not momentum. The +1 on the
not momentum,
roll.
the +1 on the action.
Yeah.
You remember your momentum's now at 1.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. And I'm doing all the rolling, so stealthy and slowly, let's take the momentum.
Okay, let's try and build that back up. All right. Let's make that next roll then. Hope for the best. Okay. That's all right. Weak hit. Could be anything. Go ahead and roll a D100. And this is similar to Undertake a Journey, where at some point you just roll the progress roll. And you want to be at 100, but you don't have to be. All right, a 65 is mark progress. Nothing else. That's good. That's good. Okay, so let's see here.
As we're moving through this, are there any like markings on the wall indicating direction, or maybe like somebody scratched into the wall some kind of, you know, symbology or kind of navigation clues?
Yeah, because if you're new to this, then I mean, you'd have to know, like, during your Brotherhood orientation, you'd have to not know where you're going. I mean,
that's true. It doesn't look like anything meaningful, but you do see the occasional little bit of an idle etching that looks like just somebody kind of dragging a stone across the wall as they walk through, or something like that. So far, you haven't encountered so much. Direction. Yeah, you haven't encountered many junctions that would necessitate guides or anything like that, aside from just the one weird intersection there.
Something she's going to be keeping an eye out for, and she's also knowing that there are elves in the archipelago.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're not out here right now, but she's going to keep an eye out and see if maybe there are any markings that she would recognize that perhaps others wouldn't.
Yeah, yeah. So let's see here. Where are we now? We are 11. This is storage or repository. Okay, so we're finding an area now where an alcove similar to what you saw in sort of the early tunnels, but this one, the caverns are starting to open up a little bit, and in one sort of hollowed out area, you see a small setup with several barrels, a lot of them just kind of lying haphazardly, open and empty, and an actual a sconce of sorts to actually set a torch in. So it looks like at least at some point people spend some time here. There is an old chair by the wall, so it looks like occasionally this area is guarded. Currently unoccupied, thank goodness. But yeah, once you see the area, your heart leaps a little bit on seeing the shadows move and seeing the chair, and then an exhale of relief when you see that it is empty. So progress made, no particularly useful opportunities, but no dangers.
I'm gonna make a mental note of where this room is,
Mm-hmm.
and she's kind of writing down a sketch in her notebook, kind of floor plan, where we've been, where we're going.
Could be useful.
Turns we chose not to take.
Yeah,
because she knows that these kinds of things can be rather labyrinthine.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So she's gonna make a note of this location, because if we need somewhere to hide, a couple empty barrels might be nice.
Hey, there you go.
Is this room one that we just moved through on the ground floor to another door, or is there like a way to go up to like a second tier door?
Let's roll the dice and find out.
I don't imagine there are really doors. It's more like just
Well, you know,
Yeah.
ways to go.
A passage.
Yeah.
Let's let Ghislaine lead the way and see what we find. I'm
Oh,
sure it's
am I
all
rolling?
gonna. Yeah, we're gonna try for more progress.
Okay. So I thought you were gonna roll to see what this room was like.
Oh, so far we just have kind of the storage area.
Okay. I was gonna say if it was like multi-tiered and we were going up a floor, you know, make a note that we could scamper down these crates as like a quick getaway if we had to. But
We'll leave that unspecified for now, in case it actually matters later.
All right.
One way or the other. All right, and well, no momentum this time.
I was just stalling because I knew that was going to happen.
It was only a matter of time. Okay. On a miss, reveal a danger. All right. Envision the danger and roll. 15 leads us to the theme card. Ooh, that's the fortified. So that applies to the fortified theme. 15 danger is ooh.
And we're dead.
No. Why? Who's filling your head with such lies? Of course not.
Schedule next week says Minecraft Monday.
No. No, we're good. We're good. So let's see here. What is that then? Okay. You continue through the caverns further on, making your way through these dark and dim tunnels. You find the storage area, examine it a little bit for anything that may help, and then press on as the tunnels kind of are starting to lead into a more fortified, well-used area. So you're sort of trying to keep a little bit more on your guard, and you're kind of watching each way as you pass through, carefully tiptoeing. And then the smallest thing, which leads to the biggest lurch in your chest, as Glenn, you are walking through, and you feel on your foot as you are walking along the tiniest tug of a bit of wire that you trip over.
Trap.
Oh.
Now, there is no, swinging blade. There is no spear automatically thrust through an unseen hole in the wall. There is just the distant tinkling of cans somewhere. A metallic clanking. And then the sound of some sort of annoyed cursing coming from deeper in the tunnel.
I know they're still assuming that some new recruit or idiot or somebody who had too much to drink stumbled and tripped into a wire. Let's make ourselves as scarce as possible very quickly.
Are there any of those alcoves around?
You just passed that storage area.
Well, the big storage room you're talking about? Or
that's the one.
Hallway.
Mm-hmm.
Can I pull a Star Wars here?
Yeah.
Okay, can I suggest to the group that I possibly disguise my voice and yell "sorry" down the hole?
Ooh.
I'm not a fan of that.
Don't know. We don't know who they would be expecting or what they would sound like.
They could write it off as a rat or some kind of sea creature that's just tumbling in the halls if we make ourselves scarce, but rats don't say sorry.
Oh, that's true. Can I yell "squeak"?
Absolutely.
No.
No. Okay.
No. Okay.
So we're just going to try to get away. Is that the plan?
I guess backtrack to the room with the storage and
hop in some barrels and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Okay. This is going to be a deception, stealth, trickery roll. So this is going to be face danger.
And I will be clutching my blade to my chest during this whole process.
Yes.
Which may trigger something in my abilities.
Let's see here. So you are going to need to roll a 3. That's shadow.
I roll 3.
Okay, a weak hit, success, but at a cost.
Losing progress, that's one cost.
Well, you never lose progress. Well, actually, there is a thing in Delve where you can lose progress, but that's not what's going on here. Ooh. Alright. Resources doesn't really make sense here. Endure stress possibly could, but that would be very, very bad. Disproportionately bad for Ghislaine. So I think we're going to suffer a little bit of momentum here.
That makes sense because we're having to backtrack.
That's right. That's right. But you successfully hide in the barrels. So in the barrels, you do hear someone approaching. You can see through the tiny cracks in the boards. These are some old barrels. They're pretty badly beat up. You can see the torchlight kind of coming around the corner as someone is sort of sweeping a torch around, looking through the area, but finally can't be bothered to deal with it and walks off, grumbling under his breath.
Oh, thank goodness for lazy guards.
All right, so.
Thank goodness for lazy, underpaid guards. They make the entire adventuring world go round.
But now you know something. Someone is ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And in such a way that may not be possible to get around them without being detected.
Do I have enough room in this barrel to, probably not to fire my bow. I don't have enough elbow room to fire through the holes. No, with his crossbow, maybe Ghislaine could.
Ooh. Ghislaine? Feeling lucky.
And it's very possible that Ghislaine, it's very likely that in those 2 weeks Serene had to make all of these preparations, that she passed out various vials of useful substances to her companions for use in case of emergency.
Perhaps.
Is it just one? Is it just one guard?
It's just one.
It's just one guard.
Okay.
So that sleeping poison that Serene made, Ghislaine probably has a vial of it. Because, that's something, from one ranged weapon user to another. It's just something that you want to always have on hand. Comes in useful.
Of course.
And if he just got caught sleeping on the job...
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I have a
his
question
hide,
about
not
my
ours.
observations.
Uh-huh.
As we were going through that hallway, and we tripped the wire. I tripped the wire. My bad. Did I notice ahead of me any more of the alcoves that you were talking about that are more just jutting off to the side with random crates in it? Or was it just a straight hall?
No, it kind of veers around a corner, but you did not see anything around that.
Okay. I was hoping that we could maybe trip it again and have someone in one of those halls to come up behind him when he charges down the hall to check again. But we don't know what's ahead of us.
Right.
And shooting from the inside of this box doesn't seem like the greatest
great
thing to
plan,
do.
but it would be an emergency plan.
For what it's worth, the guy is, he's walking away. He's not going to see you. So you've got a shot.
I have 9 momentum, guys.
I think we've got some time to, as he leaves the room, as he's resetting himself, we can get out of the boxes, and at least Serene and I can kind of speed stealth walk down the hall and each take a shot at him at the same time.
Okay. This seems reasonable.
I'd like to gesture to her, grab my crossbow, and I take my head in his direction. Be like, come on, let's take care of this before it gets too far.
Oh boy, here I go killing again.
And Torgan is
Torgan will
rear
watch.
guard.
Yeah, watch down the tunnel.
Torgan's just watching the other way, making sure we don't get got.
Yeah.
Having no ranged weapons.
Mm-hmm.
So
all
we
right.
do that.
Well, if the two of you are going to enter the fray, this is going to be shadow for both of you. A shadow roll to see if you get the initiative on this. So let's get that from both Serene and Ghislaine.
I'm gonna let Ghislaine go. Well, do we want to do it at the same time, or do I want to let him go first and then I'll follow up?
Well, this doesn't have to line up with when you shoot or anything. This is just to determine the initial state of things.
Well, if things go terribly bad, I've got my loyalist. I can jump in and...
That's right, and aid.
Yeah. I just
start.
Not great to... Oh, okay, that makes me feel a little better.
Alright, and then Serene?
It's a 2 for me. Yeah.
Yeah, Shadow is not your strong suit, but a weak hit.
But it's not my weak one. It's not my weakest by any means.
So you could still have initiative. I think that makes sense. And then Ghislaine, you actually get 2 momentum from that strong hit and have initiative. So let's see. Since you guys are getting the drop on this guy, his difficulty rating is actually a little bit dropped.
I'm using sleeping poison. I don't know if Ghislaine is.
So he's merely troublesome. So let's see here. Well then, why don't we have Serene go first then?
Okay.
Using one of the it's the poison. It's the poison arrows, but it's sleeping poison.
Yeah, the idea is we want to knock him out.
Yeah. Harm does not have to equate with actual physical damage.
It's just the dual damage.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so you'll be rolling to strike. And let's see here. This is going to be with edge. You have your mask on.
Correct.
So actually, you're going to be rolling a 3 here. Iron roll 3. Oh, and if you want, you can use your
some archery abilities.
You can use your archer asset. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So your option for that is Archer 1 lets you trust your instincts to secure an advantage for more momentum. Actually, Archer 1 is just to get you more momentum, which you're pretty close to tapped out on.
Yeah.
Archer 2 lets you take extra shots in quick succession at the expense of supply.
Since Glenn's here too, to back me up, I think I only want to take the 1 shot.
Okay, 1 shot for the strike. Let's roll edge. Iron roll 3. Okay. Inflict your harm and lose initiative. Remember, to end the fight, you have to get a strong hit. So, because of your poison arrow, that does deal an additional 2 harm. And it's 2 harm to start with. So actually, this guy is maxed out already. But you have to get a strong hit to end the fight. Otherwise, he's still...
Okay, well, I have a 9, so let's use it.
All right, there you go.
And he's asleep.
Boom. Well, now you have to end the fight. Okay, so we're going to...
scream something to Serene real quick?
Sure.
Like, we want to end the fight, but I say leave him alive.
Oh yeah. This is a specially treated arrow. So in the fight does not necessarily kill them. It's whatever's appropriate to the situation and your intent. So in this case, Serene's just trying to knock him out with a sleeping poison.
Because I would like to talk to this guy for a moment before he passes out. If I can get him in those moments as he drifts away.
Maybe like make him kind of like unable to move and slowly fall asleep.
Yeah, presumably it takes a bit to kick in. Okay, so we're gonna end the fight. Maybe. Let's see. Yes, strong hit. Foe is no longer in the fight. Okay, so Serene comes around the corner, lets loose one poison arrow, strikes true. Back of the arm, upper arm, something that's gonna hurt a little bit, but not kill him. The guy clutches his arm, but he can't quite get out the cry of pain or anything, and just sort of slumps down dizzily to his knees. But he's still awake, but he's fading fast.
All right, I'd like to approach him, holding my crossbow up to him, right up until I'm like upon him, and then I get my blade. I want to get my blade out, one of my wyvern blades, right to his neck, and I want to ask him everything he knows about this treasure that we're here for, knowing that I am compelling someone at the point of my blade.
Cutthroat 2.
And I am getting information from someone while in an enemy stronghold at the same time.
Ah, all right.
Who's
so this is gonna
in an inebriated state, conveniently.
That's true.
So he's at a disadvantage.
Someone who's very scared because he feels like he's suddenly drunk and also has a knife sticking in his neck.
All right, so this will be a wits roll, which normally for you that's 2. Your compel roll is going to add, or your cutthroat skill is going to add +1. Oh wait, that's compel. Ooh, I don't know if cutthroat is going to work.
Well, interrogation would be compel.
I'm compelling him to tell me what I
give information. Yeah, this is a questioning maneuver.
It's compelling or facing danger. It's not.
Okay, so this is a compel move then. All right, so a compel move. When you attempt to persuade someone to do something threateningly, well,
I was hoping they would stack, but if it's one or the other, it's one or the other.
Yeah, Infiltrator 2 is for gather information or secure an advantage through observation. So this would just be Cutthroat.
Okay.
Which, let's see here.
Well, it says there on the compel card, if you use this to gather information, then you get to make the same move and add +1.
Ah, here we go. So you can actually compel into a gather information.
Yeah, so they do sort of kind of stack in subsequent rolls.
Yeah, but you have to get a strong hit on compel first. So you'll be making a threatening compel roll, which is iron, which is not great. That's a 1 for Ghislaine. But with Cutthroat, that becomes a 2. So an iron roll 2 to compel him to give information out. Weak hit. So they'll do what you want, but ask something of you in return. Weird. But gather
to let you live.
Yeah. So then that turns into gather information, but with a +1, as above with the strong hit. So this becomes a wits roll. Sort of. Wits is 2, and then your infiltrator ability to give you a +1. No, allows you to use shadow instead, so it becomes a 3. Iron roll 3. Ooh, which is a miss. All right, so... So the information you're trying to get is like, where's the treasure? Where do you guys store your loot? Tell me quickly or I'm going to kill you. And this guy kind of blinking slowly and kind of drifting side to side sluggishly as he's trying to make sense of like what he's feeling in his veins. Ooh, let's see. Weak hit on compel. That's the one that really throws a bit of a wrench into things.
Look, we'll get some information, but it's questionably useful.
Yeah, let's see here. So compel is they ask something of you in return, but he's gonna pass out before he gets it anyway. So I think ultimately you're not gonna get great info. Mostly because of the miss is not going to be super useful. Reveals an unwelcome truth that might undermine your quest. Ooh. Hang on. There's some possibilities here. Let's see what the Oracle has to say about this.
Your princess is in another castle.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's not that. Uphold world. It's a load-bearing treasure. Uphold world. Ooh.
He just points to Torgan and Serene. The treasure was the friends you made along the way.
Oh. Okay, so he's kind of dizzy and a little bit. He's having like mild hallucinations as the poison is setting in, and he's about to just drop unconscious. And he kind of confuses you with one of his superiors. You know, the way you speak. He doesn't even register the crossbow at this point. He's like, "Oh yeah, you're my boss, right?"
Like, I promise I wasn't drinking on shift. Bob,
he kind of manages a half-hearted salute of the Brotherhood, whatever that is. You know, it's not a full-on military salute or anything, but some kind of secret salute that they do. And he's like you asked, sir, I just finished loading it up on the ship. And he passes out.
I gestured to Torgan to help me drag this guy back to where we were hiding to get him in a box.
Put him in a barrel.
We got him over a barrel.
Ha! All right, you got him in there.
I get him in the barrel.
Wedge the lid back on.
As I lower him into the barrel, I just kind of give his neck a little poke with the dagger, and then I put him the rest of the way in.
Oh.
We don't need this guy waking up.
Oh no!
And I search his body.
Oh no!
Let's go ahead and search that body.
Oh, are we the baddies?
Time for a resupply.
Oh, gosh.
Well, sir, if he's doing that, then you get me my arrow back.
Aw. Is this a battlefield?
Yeah, technically.
I'm resupplying.
I don't know. I mean, you can resupply, but I don't know if I'd call this a field of battle. There wasn't a battle. This was just an assassination.
Okay, fine. Well, I mean, I've looted everything I've ever had fought before without having that ability. I'm just checking.
No, that's true.
For keys or maps or anything, you know, just any quest items or.
Let's see. That kind
Makes sense for there to be a key.
Question.
Yes.
Do they wear a uniform?
Cloaks are in. Of course, this one's got a little bit of blood spilled all over it now.
Would it be useful to take their clothes to try to blend in as we gently take them to their maker?
I'll allow a secure and advantage roll for that. Gaining leverage with observation, well, trickery. a 3 in some way. Someone will be able to do it with a 3. That's the big thing.
If only I took Infiltrator 3, I could have looted him correctly.
See, that one would apply in this situation, wouldn't it?
I have not rolled tonight, so should
all right,
I
go
try
ahead.
to roll
Yeah,
the
let's
3?
have Torgan do this one.
Let's see if I can.
Yeah, we've not had any big fights. Ooh,
Okay.
No.
Fantastic.
Yeah, no, his clothes do not fit Torgan at all. This dude's a midget, and Torgan's a big boy, and it's just not
little
gonna work.
person.
Check out that Brotherhood guy with a seahorse shield and a talking sword.
I'm new.
It's my first day.
I'm going to need to speak to your HR.
First day, thank you. Action has an unintended effect. Okay. All right, yeah. No, you aren't able to get a hold of it. Or it's in too bad of condition after that. It's a little bit too noticeably red.
We
all right.
make our way back down the hallway, making sure to avoid the string.
Yes.
And looking out for future strings.
Yes. You know, we learn from our mistakes, and we roll again.
So do we find, when we come across where this little guard dude was stationed, is there anything useful?
We'll find out when we get there. Let's see if we get there. No!
Oh, we never got there.
We never got there. Cool.
A boulder is rolling down the hallway.
Uh-oh. All right,
we're not playing Crash Bandicoot.
Well, let's see what happens here. Reveal a danger.
This is not an Indiana Jones movie.
We're gonna die.
14, theme card. Alright, so 14 is... Alright, well... Okay, so, as you guys are fooling around with this guy, trying to figure out how exactly to handle this, 2 more guards from the opposite direction, coming down the way you came initially, happen upon you, with Torgan arms deep in a barrel with a guy getting stuffed in there. There's a
nothing to see here.
just taking care of the loot. There's
I mean, this seems like a completely normal activity that would be going on in their base. You know, shoving dead bodies in barrels. It seems very Brotherhood-like.
You know what? You might think so, but as it turns out, no. Yeah, I know. Everyone's rolling natural ones. And look at all those misses. Oh dear, this does not bode well. All right, so there's 2 guards. These are not gonna be troublesome. These are gonna be dangerous. Because these guys actually are looking at you, which makes them much more dangerous. So, 2 Brotherhood guards come around the corner. There's a brief moment where they're assessing the situation, and then they draw weapons. So, what happens?
Blaine, you want to try and talk them down? You're in their uniform.
Am I?
Well, no, you're wearing your green cloak.
I'm wearing that green... Oh, it's a brown cloak now because I have it reversed because we're underground, but it's not what they wear.
Yeah.
I think since it's me that they see first, that they're going to run towards me. So I'm probably going to have to enter the fray against at least one of them.
Yeah, probably. All right, so let's start with Torgan then. Torgan, this is your chance to shine, really. Now, you have Blade Bound. So, when you enter the fray while wielding your kin blade, you get an extra +1 on this roll. You are facing off against your foe, so this is Heart, which is great for you. So you're going to be actually rolling Iron Roll 4 to determine if you get to take initiative here.
Okay.
Finally, a good roll, right? Oh, a very good roll, a match roll.
And a match.
Yeah, so first of all, you get 2 momentum. Well, you really only get 1 because you're in your heavy armor right now. But also, you have the initiative. Let's see here. So, how does this situation change? While I'm determining that, tell me, what do you want? How do you want to proceed here?
As one of them runs towards me, I stop stuffing the body into the barrel and grab my sword from my side and take a slash at the first one that came towards me.
All right, I love it. All right, so you are immediately preparing to face off against this guy as he runs towards you. I think for the match, these guys were lugging some supplies, and they were bringing like a big old crate down here. Once they saw you, they dropped it and prepared to fight, but in doing so, they've kind of blocked their own exit. So they can't retreat back the way they came. The only way for them to get out is through you guys, which is a big advantage for you. So the first one comes running towards Torgan. He's got a dagger drawn, glinting in the torchlight. Torgan, go ahead and roll an iron roll. So that's going to be Iron Roll 2. A weak hit. Blows are exchanged. The dagger is flying quickly, much faster and more precise than you would have expected from someone. This guy is very well trained with a blade, but Torgan, with his mighty shield, is deflecting the blast and manages to get a strong hit across this guy. Well, not a strong hit, but you know what I mean.
Gives him a solid smack with the sword.
He does. He doesn't catch him with a good sharp cut, but bludgeons him well. The guy is much closer and in Torgan's face than he'd like, but he manages to at least get him with the hilt, kind of sending the guy a bit reeling. But he's so far close to Torgan that Torgan is now having to sort of shift to a more defensive approach. Torgan's not really built for this close range of combat. He'd at least like a couple feet. So Torgan deals damage, but he's kind of got to fall back on his back foot to sort of deflect attacks with his shield. Glane, Serene? Glane, all right.
I'd like to set Serene up for a shot.
Okay. First, we're going to need you to enter the fray. This is going to be a heart roll as well for both of you guys, which is not your best. Iron Roll 1. But maybe. No. You are at a disadvantage, and your foe has initiative here. Serene, why don't we go ahead and get your enter the fray roll, just to go ahead and figure out if you've got a chance here to get a strike in, or if you guys are both going to be kind of trying to react.
I mean, I would like to fall back and get a better position. Because I'm a ranged fighter, I don't want them in my face.
Makes sense.
And I'm just glad this guy is stupid enough to charge a guy in heavy armor with a shield.
Yeah.
But the other one seems a little smarter, and that he is approaching Glane. So I'm going to actually use my action to kind of fall back behind the dead guy barrel.
Okay.
And take up a stance and take a moment to ready a shot.
All right. Well, roll to enter the fray. Okay. Iron roll 1.
Yeah.
Let's see how that goes. Oh,
not well.
Not great. Okay, so both of you are at a disadvantage.
I knew that was gonna be.
You and Glane both are sort of caught off guard. Torgen's quick battle sense reflexes allow him to sort of immediately spring into action at a moment's notice. But you and Glane are sort of not prepared. His horse-like reflexes. You're not prepared for the battle, and so you're sort of still
really
scrambling.
Taking a fallback maneuver.
Yeah, you're sort of scrambling to fall back out of range. Glane, you're a bit more kind of in the way here, and so the second guard is sort of moving in on you close. And
what does he have to attack me with?
He also has a very fine dagger, which you would probably wish you had a dagger like that, but you have a dagger like yours, so you feel like you've got a little bit of a step up on him. But because your foe has the initiative, this is going to be a clash move, and so you're going to be rolling iron.
You gotta hate dagger envy.
1.
Correct, 1.
Oh!
And yet, you managed to pull it off. Incredible. On a strong hit, inflict your harm and choose 1, and now you have the initiative. So 2 harm, and you may either take a momentum or deal 1 extra harm.
I recommend you take momentum.
Do I get to say how I want to attack this guy?
Yes.
Then I'll take the momentum.
Okay.
I'm going to do what I was going to do anyway. If I had the initiative.
All right. Tell us about it.
All right. So Torgen's dealing with other guy.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of going for any of my weapons, which is usually my go-to, I'm going to grab the chair in the corner, hold it up in front of me, legs at him, and ram him against the wall, driving the stakes into the dirt wall, pinning him so that Serene can start taking shots.
Gotcha. Give me a chair. All right. So Glane sort of gets this guy off his game immediately, sort of maintaining that. Now, Serene still does not have the initiative, so let's see here. Let's go. Let's see what Torgen. You are sort of fending off attacks, very close range attacks from guard 1. How are you going to react to this? This guy he's just got a flurry of knife swipes going at you that you're trying to hold off with your sword and shield as best you can, but you can't keep it up forever.
Pick him.
I'm going to give a good, strong push with my shield and try to knock him down and try to get over top of him.
Shield
bash,
like shield bash, shield bash, shield bash.
Yeah,
shield
basically
bash,
a shield bash. In that case, you actually get a bonus on a strong hit if you manage to pull it off because of your shield bearer ability.
You have a 9 momentum.
That's a good
What's
point.
the worst that could happen?
That's true.
So
All right.
With a 9 momentum, not as bad.
Yes, this will be a clash with iron. So for you, that's a 2. Oh.
Hey, but it's you can make that a weak hit.
I'm going to go ahead and make it a weak hit.
Okay. All right.
It's the worst that can happen. Come to life.
Almost the worst that can happen. How about that? So this is on guard 1. You get him up to 8 of 10 progress there. And you still don't have initiative, but you slam him back with your shield. He's sort of sent reeling a bit, but this sort of maneuver has sort of very, very grievously sent you off balance. You know, you've basically kind of knocked both of you guys over. And so there's just this sort of wild, sprawling battle on the floor here that's about to unfold. Serene, you're not in great position right now, but you have an opportunity to clash here.
Well, I'm
sorry.
I've had a moment to get my feet under me and crouch down behind a barrel, at least, and draw my bow.
Okay.
So I feel like at this particular moment, I want to start going through my archer assets. I have one that lets me take a moment to aim to get a +1.
That's correct. So you can choose how to do so. You can line up your shot with edge, and that will give you momentum on a weak hit or a strong hit. Or you can trust your instincts with wits, and that'll give you 2 momentum, but only if it's a strong hit.
Because I'm wearing my mask and have my edge bonus right now, I think I want to go ahead and do edge.
All right.
Because I need to get my momentum back up in a hurry.
That's true. All right, so this is going to be secure an advantage with edge and an additional +1. So it's actually Iron Roll 4. 2 base, 1 for mask, 1 for the aiming. All right, and we have... Oh my goodness.
Lord.
Oh, no.
Double tens.
Not only is it a natural 1, but it's a natural 1 with her mask. When you wear the mask and make a move which uses its stat, add +1, which we did. If you roll a 1 on your action die, suffer -1 to the associated track in addition to any other outcome of the move. So in that case, you lose 1 health, which you've got decent health anyway.
Yeah, but there's nothing. I could have perfect momentum, and there's nothing I could do about this situation.
That's a 1 in 100 right there. The double 10.
Why did you bring the bot?
On a miss, you fail or your assumptions betray you and pay the price, which granted you already did, but this is in addition to that. Let's see here. Oh my gosh.
I'm trying to think of a way that I can aid with my loyalist ability to help in any way in this situation.
Not in that case.
But no, there's nothing I can do.
Not in that case. So at this point, you have not actually fired a shot yet. Oh, jeez. Okay, Serene is pushed for time. She's trying to line up her shot, but there's so much movement on the ground. These guys are fast, they're precise. Torgan is doing his best to hold his own. Glane is trying to maintain control of the situation as well, and is starting to get it. So Serene is trying to line up a shot, but she just can't get it, and she just sort of fumbles with her bow. Sort of the arrow just sort of veers off before she has a chance to even line up. So a slight loss of momentum, but she will try again. So the aiming did not work, and you're just gonna have to make a normal clash attempt here with no particular bonuses. Whew.
While that plays out, can I use my initiative to do something?
Let's let Serene make her shot here towards the one on the ground first.
Was she aiming for the one on the ground or the one I'm pinning down?
Actually, I guess that's a good question. What is Serene aiming for?
Well, Torgan shield bashed the guy, but she doesn't have a clear line. She doesn't have a clear shot. So she's gonna try and get around Glane. Glane, at least, is a smaller target.
Okay.
And this is just a normal arrow. This is just normal combat.
So this is the one that Glane is working special with, or Torgan?
Glane.
Okay. Guard 1. Guard 1 is targeted. Going for a clash.
No, you have... Isn't that backwards?
I think guard 2 is the one.
Yeah, Glane has guard 2. Torgan has...
You know what?
Yeah, Torgen really damaged the first one.
Yeah. Got that.
It was guard 2 that went after Glane.
Thank you, thank you.
You got it a little backwards.
There we go. Guard 1 is on the ground with Torgen because Torgen got a strike and a clash. Okay.
What's with clashes with iron? This isn't good.
At edge for you since you're shooting.
Okay.
Yeah, it's only if you
3?
have to. Yes, 3. Thanks to your mask. Thanks to your mask. Oh, strong hit.
Better.
So, right off the bat. Okay, and you're going for Glane's. Is that what we decided?
Mm-hmm.
Guard 2. Guard 2 is the one.
Guard 2.
Okay, that almost puts him at a full track. Inflict your harm and choose 1, and you have the initiative. So you can inflict 1 more harm to max him out.
Yeah, let's actually go ahead and max him out, even though I really need the momentum, because this is a strong hit and we can try and end it. This could be a kill shot.
All right, let's go for it. Iron Progress 10 here. Yes.
He's dead.
The second guard pinned to the wall by Glane is a sitting duck. Serene takes a moment, slows her breathing, lines up the shot, and fires. The arrow flies true, striking the guard, dead on the spot. Meanwhile, Torgen is on the ground, dealing with the other guard.
I would like to try to end this. Maybe reach around and grab my sword and kind of try to shish kebab him underneath my shield.
All right.
Is it any better if I try with my initiative, or see it just as much?
Oh, yeah.
Not really, as it comes down to in the fight, you just have to get a strong hit. Doesn't matter if it's strike or clash. Okay. Really, the difference is what happens for a weak hit or miss. Strike has better results as far as like more harm dealt or something like that, but
okay.
Yeah. I'm iron rolling 2.
Now, if you'd like to aid another Glane, that is an option. So you could give him a bonus.
Okay.
I mean, I would take all the help I could get.
Yeah, so how would you like to...
Do I put that into words?
Yeah, how would you like to assist?
So, like, Torgen is squishing this dude on the floor. You could, like, walk up and, like, slit his throat while he's being squashed.
I knew exactly what I wanted to do the second I spoke up.
Oh, okay.
Now that I see an arrow go into this guy that I'm holding down, I rip the chair out of the wall, and WWE style just raise the chair up and break it over this guy's face.
Oh my god.
Okay. Well, that'll be a strike. No bonuses needed there. That's just a straight up strike.
Because the chair is no longer necessary in the wall.
I guess so. So that's an iron. So. That's a roll with iron. So iron roll 1. Now, well.
Bam.
Go.
Oh, you weren't getting around that 10 either way. He is at max damage on his track, but that's not going to end the fight. Inflict your harm and lose initiative. Glane, now weaponless as the chair shatters. Serene, you still have initiative there on the ground. Torgen, with your loyalist asset, you could perhaps kind of try and wrestle this guy into a position where Serene can have an easier time lining up her shot.
That is true, as long as I don't end up getting shot.
That's true.
Well, I mean, he just had a chair broken across his face. Torgen's sitting on him. I could just walk up and point blank the guy. Like, we can full on coup de grace this encounter.
I mean, he's still moving around right now. He's not just knocked out or anything.
I imagine not very well.
That's I could try to secure an advantage with my loyalist. So, do I roll iron or heart for this one?
Let's see here. I feel like this is gonna be more of a roll with iron. So let's give it an iron roll 2.
And then do I get the 1 for the loyalist?
Oh, and then 1 for loyalist to make it a 3.
Okay.
And if you succeed, you get an extra bonus. Okay, that's a hit, so you get an extra 1 momentum for you for aiding someone. That's just what your loyalist ability does, is every time you successfully aid someone, you get momentum. And then Serene, because of that being taken on your behalf, you get 1 momentum that Torgan earned for you.
Hey.
So Torgan
but we still can't end it.
No, so Serene is going to try and land a strong hit with a strike maneuver here. Torgan is basically just kind of brawling with this guy on the ground and just lands his sword he's kind of lost track of it in the tussle. It's kind of clanged away and slid across the ground. And he just lands a solid right hook on the guy. And in that moment, he's kind of reeling from the blow, and this is when Serene takes a moment to line up her shot. So,
will this be a 3 for me?
This will be a 3 for you, Edge. There it is. All right.
Bam, bam. He did.
Well, maybe. Yes, he did. Success. All right, I'm gonna go grab snacks. Discuss where to go from here.
Well.
Okay, well, we have some more bodies to hide.
We're gonna need more barrels.
And they dropped these boxes they were carrying here in the doorway. We should definitely check out what those were.
Notice how he's already wearing his Minecraft shirt like he can't wait. It's like when you wear the shirt for the game you're going to buy because you're so excited.
That's why we've only got about 15 minutes left anyway. He's gone off to decide how can I kill them in the next 15 minutes for sure.
Serene's only lost 1 HP. This is going terribly.
He's gone to consult with Hovercat. What's the best way to kill these people?
Because if anyone's been thinking about how to do that for months, it's her.
Oh yeah, she's tired of losing her Mondays. I mean, I think that our only chance is to just keep going down the hallway where the first guard that we stuffed in the barrel came from.
As long as everyone who knows we're here is dead, stealth is still an option.
I'm back.
That's true.
The idea, the thing that concerns me is where those two were probably expected somewhere. So it might behoove us to, and the one guy said he was he was loading something on a ship. So maybe they're in the process of exporting some of their loot? So maybe we need to, find out what's in these crates and then, investigate their destination.
What's in the box?
Maybe we shove Lane in a box and send him forward to go see what happens.
Solid snake?
In a box.
See, it's a shame that we couldn't figure out a way to, now that there's 3 of them and, you know, there's 3 of us, to disguise ourselves as them. To make ourselves, we could look like them. We know their salute because we got saluted. You know.
Well, there could be 2 of you who have captured Glane, and you could escort me around. If we get caught, we can play that.
That's true.
Well, the guy who's pinned to the wall, his uniform might be salvageable. I mean, I put that arrow through his neck. That shouldn't have punched any holes in his uniform.
Hey, we're for all intents and purposes, we're pirates. I mean, we're not going to look the cleanest.
Hey, you go.
So, I mean, if we can get 2 uniforms...
Maybe luck into a third later. And just roll with it for now.
Yeah, we could be in disguise.
Okay.
We could do this like Wizard of Oz style, where we dress up as the Winkies.
Mm-hmm. So you've acquired some uniforms. Whether or not those are going to work, we'll have to roll for it when the time comes.
Yeah. Well, that one guy was kind of tall and lanky, and maybe he, you know, it fits okay on Serene.
Shouldn't we have to know if we're wearing them as we're walking around? Just to know.
No, you are, but we'll decide whether they work.
Oh, I see.
Is what I mean. So like, you know.
Torgen and Serene are wearing it.
You're wearing them, but that doesn't mean that you blend in.
Do we want to put it on Torgen? Would it be better to put it on Glane? It's not really going to fit over Torgen's armor.
And I was thinking that. I mean, if Serene and Glane were wearing them, they're looking for Glane. They're not really looking for me. You could just say, oh, I found this guy wandering around. You know, I'm not really a threat.
That's the warrior in heavy armor with a shield.
I mean, they're not looking for me. But apparently, Glane is like enemy number 1 amongst them. So, I mean...
You know, I think just based on size and everything, we and Serene should be disguised.
Yeah.
Because we're not going to hide that seahorse shield from anybody. He's geared for war.
I just really like seahorses.
He's a different silhouette than everybody else here. So let's go ahead and play it safe.
That was the nicest way I've ever heard to say, boy, that's a fat guy right there. He's got a different silhouette.
Armor.
None of us have armor like that. Like, I'm sure that the Brotherhood has archers, and that Serene carrying a bow around isn't going to raise any eyebrows. But
I'm going to use that in real life. He's got a different silhouette.
My silhouette's built different. All right. So yeah, we'll walk around. We'll still keep relying on stealth, and we'll just kind of walk around as if we've kind of got him detained. And if we hear something ahead of time, we'll just keep scrambling like we are. But if we get found, we can play like, we found this guy.
You can try to deceive a little.
Right.
With all my skills about lying to people. I've got those, right?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. I think this is better than just killing everybody that comes along.
Well, I think they are dead.
We can walk past a couple of them.
We just took their clothes and they're dead.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe this is a better future plan.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so were we checking the boxes that they had?
Oh, yeah. They said they had supplies in them, so can we resupply from the boxes?
Let's see here. It looks like this is some kind of food.
Okay.
Yay.
Rations.
Let's move the boxes at least in line with the other boxes, so that if someone comes across this room, there's not boxes in a hallway. There's
that could draw
a pile
where they go. Yeah.
A pile of boxes.
Yeah.
With dead people behind them.
Right, and then barrels in the boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I guess we're clothed in their robes and everything. We have Torgen, and we're heading back down String Hallway.
All right.
Stealthily.
So we're gonna delve again.
Yep.
Shadow, because nobody knows we're here.
That's right. Still, stealth is still possible.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is going too well.
A match.
Don't jinx it.
You mark progress and find an opportunity. That puts you at 5 progress, by the way. Find an opportunity. Why don't you roll a D100 for me? Let's find out what kind of opportunity we may have here. 46. You locate a secure area. And also, you may choose to turn this either into 1 momentum or a +1 on your next roll. You don't have to choose immediately, but you do have to choose that before you make your next roll.
I think I just want the +1 on the next roll. So
honestly, that's probably a good call. So let's see here. A secure area, huh? Let's see here. This
One guy, we found a key in my pocket. And we're like, oh, this is the cupboard they were supposed to be putting the food in.
Let's see here. This is a... well, let's just let the Oracle decide for us. 8. Let's go with... Okay. Alright, so... You are at... a sort of... You have found a passage that will allow you to get around some of the upcoming issues you were about to face. So, after you dispatched of the guards and sort of continued along the path, you see almost immediately as you turn the corner that the area sort of opens up into a large cavern with a visualize, if you will, a sort of underground lake, maybe more of a pond, with a sort of walkway carved into the wall around it. A few torches lining the walls. And this spreads out into different passageways. You don't see any ships around, but there's tunnels that are leading into the water and everything. That's not the kind of thing that you're needing to resupply, really. So it's not an opportunity in the sense that you can use that as a resupply option here. So, I mean, you grabbed some, but that's not going to up your supply track. So, you find, as you are sort of scouting out the area stealthily, that there are a lot more people passing around through this area. This area is a little bit more heavily trafficked. Glane kind of is waving you guys back, telling you, like, wait, and trying to just keep an eye on things from this hallway, watching people pass through. And he sees multiple people going in and out of different passages as you guys are just in a few minutes. So you know this is kind of a more central hub. And he's sort of like trying to find some way to kind of get through this area. And he does notice that a lot of this passageway is all on sort of one side of the cove. And if you were to sort of maybe dip down below a little bit, not necessarily in the water, but dip down, there's significant place to sort of skirt around the edges safely. And you guys are able to make progress into another area to continue looking around without being seen. And this is going to lead you to your next area. 5. Watery tunnels. Fitting. So in trying to stay hidden, you find one of the tunnels nearby is shallow enough that you can pass through, and it is concealed to allow you to pass through. Blueberries, strawberries. This weaves close enough to a lot of the other tunnels that they occasionally intersect in where they've sort of eroded out over time. So this is not an area that the... Blue grapes, red grapes, yes. This is not an area where the Brotherhood is like actually using to pass through, but it is close enough that you can kind of keep along with their passageways without being detected. So it's a good find.
So we're basically taking the servants' passageway through the castle.
Yes, exactly
Or a
that. You're taking a dev exit. Yes, perfect.
On brand.
So do we get a progress for that on track?
That's what you got from the last roll.
Oh, okay.
So now we have to roll again to.
Now you have to roll again.
But I got a +1 on this one.
Yes.
So this is a 4.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Ooh, another strong hit. You guys thought you were dead tonight.
This is just going too well for Dobbs.
All right, go ahead and roll a 100. Let's see what kind of opportunity awaits. And you get the same bonus as before. You can either take momentum or a better roll. 85. Okay, hang on.
That's almost a year.
This area provides an opportunity to scavenge, forage, or hunt. The flooded cavern that you've been kind of sneakily splashing through veers temporarily away from the main passageways. Now, this is becoming more maze-like, and Serene's mapping is coming in handy. And you find that this leads into a sort of large, secluded cavern, where you are set apart from the main passageways that the Brotherhood is around, and you are actually far away enough, as far as you can tell, that they can't hear you, they can't see your torchlight, anything like that. Yeah, you are waiting, but there is a constant sound of flowing water and splashing sounds just all throughout these caverns, echoing in all sorts of strange ways. So although you're not being super quiet, it blends in enough to the background sound of the caverns. So this area has a little bit of let's see here. This area has sort of become a sort of natural filter for dropped items. Through some cavern or another, an old fishing net has sort of gotten itself tangled against one of the cavern tunnels, creating a natural filter that has caught all sorts of goodies. And taking a moment to look through it, you may actually find some items you need. So if you want to make a resupply roll, you now have an option to do so.
That would probably be best for me to do.
Probably.
Yes, I earned 12 doubloons. That's nice. Get out of the way.
Ooh.
There we go.
Ooh.
That's a lot of 3s.
4 3s.
Trip 3. Oh, 4 3s, actually.
A super match.
Let's see here.
Like, this has to be extra special now.
That's a Yahtzee.
Like,
sure
we found the treasure of Captain Barnes
In
a moldy box covered
wow,
in
how convenient.
seaweed and barnacles.
And we've won Iron Sword, and it's over.
Wow, you did it. That's all you had to do.
We thought we had to go steal a ship or something crazy. No, we just had to check the trash.
That's where it was all along. Incredible.
We opened the chest and it's just a bunch of Hustler magazines. That was the treasure.
Oh, wah wah.
All along.
Captain Barnes was a dirty dog.
Those were special edition, like yearly edition, though. You know, still in the plastic.
Let's see here. What is this? What is it?
Even.
How does this change things? Let's see. So with this tunnel here, we've already explained that there's sort of multiple multiple outlets or inlets. It's tough to tell which way the water is flowing in some spots here. But this room right here is giving you easy passage to a lot of different areas. Serene, while she's kind of like looking around in there, she can kind of see, she can get a little bit of sight through each of these to kind of see like, oh wait, there's light on a few different ones of these. And perhaps most notably is that the one that the net is up against, as she's digging through, she happens to see that there is not just light at the end of that tunnel, but daylight. That one somehow is leading out to sea. So a lot of the other tunnels, the waterways are sort of draining out to the ocean through the net, and that's why all of these extra supplies have gotten caught in here. Is because that one leads out to sea. So you found an escape route, if necessary.
Instead of having to delve back out the front that we know about.
Well, there's actually a special rule for that, which we'll get to. Huh? There's like a single leave the dungeon move.
And teleport.
No, your teleportation powers are now disabled. We turned that off at the last.
You may not teleport now. Location. There are enemies nearby.
I'll let you know about this.
All right,
that was a Minecraft joke for anyone who didn't catch it.
You must construct additional pylons?
Yes. All right, so further delving necessary. You managed to make it this far.
I'm going to take my +1 again on the next roll instead of momentum.
And then an iron roll 4. Oh, uh-oh. All right, got to roll 100. We don't know what's going to happen here. Could be nothing. Could be something. 55.
55.
That is progress and nothing else.
Huh.
Which honestly,
news is good news.
Exactly. So let's see. Where does this put you then? And you can prepare to roll again. And I'll tell you what the area looks like as you're preparing to roll.
I'm ready.
Just go ahead. Yeah. Oh, well, now you have to roll 100 again. Well, now I'm losing.
Oh my god!
Oh!
Ding 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 ding! I won $1 million.
Wah! Okay, you're in luck. 100.
100 bad.
Mark progress twice.
Whoa!
And reveal a danger.
Oh,
yep,
no.
I knew it.
And boss.
I knew 100 was bad.
Okay, so, all right, so you are in flooded chamber.
Crab people.
60.
One of those things. The minute you move the treasure from its pedestal, the water just starts rising.
Goonies.
Crab rave. Let's see.
Crab rave. Crab Rangoon pizza.
Yeah.
Ooh, an environmental or architectural hazard.
The thing I just said.
Okay, you guys are making your way through. The tunnel proceeds, and you can just make out that up ahead, this next cavern, there are ships ahead. You've been taking note of like the different types of random things that are drifting through each of the tunnels before you decided which passageway to travel through. And the types of things you're seeing from one of these, the various bits of nets and ropes and flotsam, this way must lead towards the ships, which, as you've already found out, that's the one, is where the treasures have already been taken to. However, along the way, you get to an area where there is no headroom. The tunnel goes deeper and deeper. The headroom is getting shallower and shallower, and eventually it goes under. You're going to have to swim through. Or backtrack and find a completely different passage. So, are you feeling lucky?
This is exactly the kind of thing where we just die.
Mm-hmm.
This tunnel could go on to hell. Oh God.
Well, which of us is the strongest swimmer?
It doesn't matter if it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, well, we're gonna send one person to scout it.
I guess swim until you feel uncomfortable and then swim back. Like, knowing that you can swim back as much as you went out and see where that gets you.
This will be an endurance roll, which is iron.
So, Torgen, the swimming silhouette.
The paperweight.
Oh. Okay.
You might want to ungear for war. I don't know if that makes a difference for swimming.
It doesn't
Or
really.
if this thing big enough for any of us to swim through it. It's not like a ventilation shaft that we're swimming through. It just goes underwater.
Yeah, it's big enough to swim through.
And turn
Like
around.
this is sort of kind of a wide tunnel, a little bit narrow in places, but yeah, the whole thing kind of dips under.
Do any of us have like a rope that we can tie to him so that he can give us like tug commands, or like we can pull him back in?
Well,
yes.
let's do check your gear. We need a specific helpful item. Well, here's the thing. We have to see if it's in good enough condition and if it will work in this scenario. Mostly this is an opportunity to get free momentum.
Gain momentum.
I do need momentum.
I have 4, so you two should.
So whoever wants to roll it, you roll supply, which is a +5. So
Actually, Torgen should do it, because if he's doing the swimming and he has to roll for this, he'll need momentum.
there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm iron rolling 5. 50-50 shot here.
We kit. You have it, but your
Okay.
resources are diminished.
Fair enough.
Okay.
So we come up with a tug system where 2 slow, deliberate, strong tugs mean it's safe, follow the rope. Frantic tugging means pull me out. Oh God, help me. And if he can't, he can also start frantically tugging if he decides to make a return swim so that we can boost his return swim.
Yeah. All right.
Because we don't want to just have him swim out there and then never feel a tug ever. Because that just means he's dead.
Ugh,
Great.
unfortunate. All right.
Because there was a big fisher.
Good luck, Turtle.
Even a fish grabbing him will tug the rope, so we're good.
Yeah, it'll
What's
be like
the
fishing
worst thing
with
that-
more steps.
So I'm
You're the bait.
rolling. I'm 2. I'm rolling 2.
Iron roll 2. That's right.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
God.
Oh.
Oh, uh-oh.
Well, that could just
Tug,
mean that
tug.
Ooh. You
Oh,
fail,
yeah.
or your progress is undermined by a dramatic and costly turn of events. Pay the price.
Pull me
Okay. So, for
I'm too
Del,
big for this hole.
let's see. You... Oh, what exactly happens here? What
Please do
danger
not
you
drown,
encounter?
Torgen.
57. You... Oh.
Oh, God.
Instead, do not drown Torgen.
Uh-oh.
The threat is electric boogaloo. Whatever that is.
That's the threat level. Okay, well... I need to get to a different page on the rulebook here.
Good.
Let's see, where is it?
Well, it's been nice adventuring with y'all. I went the way of Augustus Gloop and got stuck in a hole.
No. Of course not.
Hey, if only one of us dies, he re-rolls a different person. If we team wipe, then we're done.
That's right.
We take you to the centaurs, and they magic you back into being okay.
Yeah, if you get out. Plot twist, here. I become the soul in the sword.
You are swimming through... Ooh, actually, that works better. All right, you are swimming through the tunnels. It's extremely dark. You can't see hardly, a foot in front of your face. But you're hoping to get through. You're kind of feeling along the tunnel, feeling for when you can actually feel some dry air up above you. Kind of, you're pushing away kind of the weird seaweed and netting that you're kind of trying to get through. You encounter a big mat of just this net of seaweed, all slimy and unsettling, that feels a little bit chilling to the touch as you're passing through, and it just does not get out of the way. And as you're kind of like trying to brush it aside, you feel that it's like actually attached to something kind of more sturdy and cold to the touch, a little bit slimy. And as you're trying to make sense of what you're feeling, your hand sort of outstretched blindly in the water, your hand kind of goes down further and further until you start to feel just the slight sensation of this is facial features as a hand grabs your wrist and begins pulling you down into the depths.
Frantic pull, frantic pull.
And that's where we're going to end tonight.
Oh, no!
We're ending with Torgen getting eaten.
It's not a cliffhanger. It's a hole drowner.
I have a short story that goes something like this.
Oh.
It doesn't end well.
I imagine it doesn't.
Go figure.
Everybody's homework assignment is to watch Man in the Water for next week.
If we hadn't been making so many Minecraft references, maybe he wouldn't have us encounter a drowned.
I mean, it basically is a drowned when you look at the rule set for this.
Not a happy boy.
No.
Well, the good news is next week you can have plans after 7:30.
Because I'll be dead by 7:10.
You'll love the name of this. It's not quite a... It's not quite drowned, but...
What's it called?
Sodden.
Sodden.
Yeah.
It just makes me want to make Dennis references.
It makes me want to call it a moist.
I mean, it is, basically.
It's a moist.
Sadden. Well, we'll find out next time if Torgen survives, and the rest of the crew as well.
We almost delved all the way.
Well, yeah, it got close.
He has to wait another week to kill us.
Mm-hmm. Well, at least you know what? You survived episode 21.
It's always me. It's always me that's in this kind of danger,
isn't it? How interesting.
You're the only one with iron.
This is uncertain and dangerous. Tap him on the shoulder. You're up. There wasn't even a discussion about this.
There really wasn't. I didn't get a say in this at all. Like, guess who's going in the hole?
Well, he said it was an iron roll, and we looked at the chart, and it's 1-1-2.
I get one more chance in the world, and this
is it.
Into the hole you go.
Oh, God.
Nobody's good at iron rolls. Nobody's good at edge rolls.
Well, I am, as long as I'm wearing my mask.
That's true. So, really, iron is the only one that we have no 3s for now.
Why did I pick hard?
It didn't do a super good job of explaining what the stats did.
It works great when you're dealing with people.
If Captain Planet has taught us anything, don't pick hard.
It has not served me a bit.
Well, hopefully everything goes great next time. But we're going to have to... Gosh, that was a lot of misses tonight. And then ending on a miss with a match.
It's 9s.
Yeah, of all things.
And we had 100 tonight.
You did. I don't think we've seen it before, but not often.
Yeah, it's always me who rolls it.
Yeah.
Put the last one there.
There you go. Thank you, GameCube.
We have to make sure we spend all your money. That's just part of the rules.
That's true.
GameCube says to spend all of Dobbs' money, but every time that that he streams, he spends like $30 worth of Pokemon cards and a new amiibo. So I mean,
that's a good point.
Like, who's spending more? Who's spending more money, really?
Good point.
Meanwhile, I haven't streamed in like 3 months.
Well, you get to change that in about a month because games done badly coming October 9th and 10th. Plug.
Plug.
At some point, he's going to remove the Camp Horizon thing. We'll be like, what happened to it? And he'll be like, oh, we found a cure. We gave him enough money.
That's it.
We did it.
We did it. Congratulations, everyone.
That's the go. $5 at a time.
Yeah. That's how it works. GG. All right. Well, that's it. Everybody go home. Wait,
I am.
Make sure that nobody...
Yeah, I better be home looking at going on around me.
Okay.
I actually got to stay home this whole episode, so really...
Whose cat is this?
Anybody going live? No Germ Dub, no Curbska.
I was live before this. I'm not going 6 hours.
Yeah, I don't want to see any more Other M anyway, honestly.
No one does.
I think it's better. I think the 3D is better.
Then just go Prime. Metroid Prime.
It's interesting to watch.
Metroid Prime is much better.
It is.
Yeah. All right. What? Don't give me that. Don't give me that. All right. Good night. Bye.
Good night.
Bye, everybody.
See you next week.
All right. See you guys.